pleasant evening to every one of us. We're all highly welcome to this evening's broadcast. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy New Week. March is going. So we have entered more or less like the third week of March. So we're all highly welcome to this evening's broadcast. We're going to be looking at menopause and fibroids management, okay? We're going to be looking at perimenopause and also postmenopause fibroids management, trying to look at the different ways it appears, whether it's perimenopause, premenopause, perimenopause, and then postmenopause, and then some of the natural things you can do concerning fibroids and management at this stage in life. So we are highly welcome to every one of us as we roll on or roll out or go on or discuss menopause and fibroid management. All right, so if you've joined me live, you can greet. So I can welcome you to this evening's broadcast. We are highly welcome. Like I said, I wish you the best of the week. I wish you glorious week. I wish you fruitful week. I wish you restful week. I wish you healthy week, financially healthy, psychologically healthy, mentally healthy, physically healthy, and healthy otherwise, okay, for every one of us and our family. So we're all highly welcome. So if you've greeted, if you've joined me like greets, I can welcome you to this evening's broadcast as I share. Of course, we all know that there is love in sharing, so let's go ahead and share now. Share to your friends, share to your family, share to your colleagues, share to your neighbors, share to everyone. And if it's one of my coaches, she will say share to your enemies too, okay? Fibroid is not something you even wish for your enemy. All right, so if you join me live, like I said, let's greet so I can welcome you to this evening's broadcast and also help me to share, please. If you shared, kindly say I have shared. If you've greeted, you have greeted. Happy New Week to every one of us. I was so busy today that I could not send Happy New Week to my fans. Just pardon me for this week. You will get it by your way next week, hopefully by the grace of God. All right. So, but I just wish every one of us Happy New Week. I wish you glorious week. I wish you fantastic week. I wish you all that you wish yourself. I used to have a sister that would always say, I wish you what you wish yourself. All right, so we're almost done with sharing so that we can go through and run through today's broadcast. I started early and I want to make it maybe 45 minutes, at most 1 hour, okay? So if you've shared, say I have shared, so we know you have shared. Hello, love Yahweh, good evening. Thank you for the thumbs up, thank you for the clap. I really am excited at being in today's broadcast, okay? I'm really excited, I must tell you. Thank you for being the first to say good evening. Love Yahweh. I'm going to put my phone number on the screen now because I'll just look 5 minutes. I still have not seen anyone. So you're going to get a gift. Chat me on my WhatsApp number. I'm going to give you my books, very expensive ones, 3 very expensive ones. You can choose the ones you want. Okay, so Love Yahweh, you are the one getting the prize for today. So my WhatsApp number is +234 703 515 1642 +234 703 515 1642. So hello Ruth Ebong Abimbola, welcome. We're all highly welcome. So I'm going to pin my number now. So Love Yahweh, that's you will have a gift. If you chat me after this meeting, then I'll be able to tell you what your gift is. Okay, now when we talk about today, like I said, we're going to be looking at managing fibroids in perimenopausal women, managing fibroids briefly in postmenopausal women, the challenges and the best way you can handle it. Good evening, Lolo. Good evening, Siaba Cecilia. How are you, Sister Siaba? How are you? Thank you. All right, so like I said, uterine fibroids occur in women of all ages, okay? And in fact, fibroids are the most common benign or non-cancerous gynecologic tumors in perimenopausal women, and I mean worldwide. You know, it's always good for you to know that you're not alone. It's always good for you to know that, oh, it's not as if it's happening to only me, okay? So fibroid is one of the most common benign or non-cancerous gynecologic tumors in perimenopausal women, and I mean worldwide. Fibroids aren't really associated with an increased risk of uterine cancer, like some people begin to feel, okay? But almost, usually fibroid really doesn't develop into cancers. Okay, they can range in size from, like, if you get an apple now, like an apple seed, like seedlings, okay, and they can grow to become so big that they can distort the uterus, okay? And women can actually have one or many. It's estimated that nearly 70 to 80% of women will develop fibroids at some point during their lifetime. I can remember when after I've had my last baby, and I started bleeding, frequently at a time. So when I went to the doctor, he said, "Oh, you have tiny, 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 tiny fibroids," and I'm like, and I had all these children. He said, "No, yours didn't disturb me from having children, but now, he started explaining and explaining." So many of us have it, but we don't even know, because we don't even have any symptom for it, okay? So, but fibroid often appear during childbearing years, but the risk actually increases as we age as women, okay? So the more we add to age, the more we actually have the risk of this fibroid, okay? Yeah, love Yahweh, wow, yeah, you have a gift from me. Just chat me on my WhatsApp number. Yeah, if you look here, you are the first to greet. Some people joined, but they are just looking, watching. So when I saw that after a while, so many people had joined, up to like 10 people joined, and you were the only one that greeted. That's why that gift is coming your way, okay? So what about those women who are moving through childbearing years into perimenopause, okay? The main symptom for women who have fibroids in perimenopause or menopause is abnormal uterine bleeding. Okay, that's the main symptoms. Like, if you remember, I told you I didn't do anything. The thing just, went in by itself. Okay, so usually, like I said, and this represents like 70% of all gynecologically consultation in perimenopause. Okay, and premenopause. That's what happened, especially perimenopause and postmenopausal women. Most of the issues they have when they go to see their gynecologist is usually maybe uterine bleeding and things like that. So, but we just have to have enough knowledge and know what to do each time, to know how to handle these issues. Hello, Chechi Monique. Welcome, good evening. Welcome to this evening's broadcast as we look at menopause and fibroid. Hello, Grace. Grace, you're welcome. Grace, how are you? How is Abuja? So anyway, if we talk about managing fibroids in perimenopausal women, typically fibroids begin to regress in menopause with the change in hormones. But actually, some doctors are actually concerned about fibroids regrowing because of hormone therapy. Some people take a lot of hormone therapy during this perimenopause, okay, because of the symptoms of menopause that they are having. And because of that, instead of the fibroids to shrink, the fibroids is actually growing. So these two concerns continued or new fibroid growth and abnormal uterine bleeding makes actually addressing fibroids in perimenopausal women very, very important, because it can be very, very uncomfortable, okay? Because managing fibroids in perimenopausal women, including the challenges faced by the people who are managing, the doctors, the obstetricians, and the gynecologists in fibroid management, is actually very, very, sometimes a concern, even for the doctors, even for the people who are having it, okay? So women often hear about fibroids as a possible impact on their fertility. But actually, the risk of a woman developing uterine fibroid is at its highest during perimenopause, not actually during the premenopause, okay? So fibroids do occur at other times. Immediately, actually, one starts ovulating, there is that risk of one developing fibroid. That's why you find out that in young adults and in some young teenagers, like a woman was telling me that they saw fibroid in the daughter's uterus, and she was so worried about it. So it's not usual, but it can happen. All right. So fibroids do occur at other times, but the time when menopause is approaching is when women seem to notice the symptoms of fibroid more than any other time. So, if perimenopause, like we all know, is around menopause. I don't want to start describing because already I've talked this page, we've talked so much about menopause. So there are 4 like or 5 stages in a woman's life. You have, I always start with the the young age infant, and then we talk about toddlers, and then puberty by the time she's beginning to become real woman. And then after that is the premenopause, which is the childbearing time. And then perimenopause is around menopause. And sometimes, like I said, it can be 5 years, 7 years, even 14 years for some women, okay? And it's a time when the woman's body begins a natural transition to menopause. Remember, it's a natural phenomenon. And this marks the end of her reproductive year. And the woman starts this phase at different ages. Like I said, some people start it at 35, 45, some even later than 45, okay? So if you start it at earlier than 35, it's premature perimenopause. Menopause, if it's around 35, 40, it's early, and then around 45 is normal, 45, 46, 47 is normal, and then maybe like 40, 50 is late menopause. So signs like irregular menstrual cycle may start in those 40s, but some women actually notice changes, like I said, earlier than this, around mid-30s, like 35. But the biggest impact is a change in the level of our main female hormone, which is the estrogen, and it rises and falls unevenly during perimenopause, okay, creating side effects like longer or shorter menstrual cycle, hot flushes, sleep disorder, and night sweats, and so many other symptoms that I have talked about. You can go on my page, Aging with Grace, and you type 70 symptoms of perimenopause, menopause, and you'll be able to find these ones. So once a woman has gone through 12 consecutive months without a menstrual period, then that woman is considered to have ended the perimenopause and is now a woman in menopause. All right. Hello, Lowo, Yeye, Rachel. How are you doing? Good evening. Welcome to this evening's broadcast. Okay. It also means the risk of fibroid growth can vary, just like the ages at which we enter perimenopause and menopause varies. That's how also the risk of fibroid growth will also vary. For most women, it may be highest between the ages of 40 and 58. But perimenopause can begin, like I said, as soon as 30 for some women, and even earlier. I've had a few people, maybe because of operation, maybe because of some medications they are taking, or sometimes what they can't really explain, they enter perimenopause on time. So there are other factors at play when it comes to developing fibroids. So it's not just about perimenopause, menopause, or hormone. Also, the other factors are like race, okay? Black or white, red, okay? And then genetics, okay? Your gene also is a factor when you develop fibroid. And then again, your lifestyle. We're going to be looking at these things very briefly now because it's absolutely important for you to know why or what could cause fibroid for you, okay? Fibroid seems to disappropriately affect African American population, okay, more than the white or the Hispanic when you talk about the American community. Also, it affects because we are blacks. Black women have fibroids also at younger age, and they are also likely to have more or larger fibroids along with more severe symptoms, okay? So it has everything to do with race. Now, maybe because the Asian women, because of the Mediterranean diet, they might not have so much of this, but I really don't know why the whites, because their foods, I don't know. Anyway, but it's race, the risk of being you have a higher risk if you're a black woman, okay? And again, hereditary has an impact too on fibroid, because if your mother or your sister had fibroids, you are at increased risk of developing them. And remember, like I always tell us, when you have a hereditary issue, a genetic issue, then if you need to know it on time and you need to do something about it on time so that you let it not be that that generational curse or generational sickness is coming to you when you can help it. Again, also lifestyle factors like obesity can lead to risk of higher fibroid, and also it can have a diet. Your diet can actually also impact and actually also put you at the risk of fibroid, like eating red meat or taking foods with more carbohydrates than vegetables and fruits can actually put you at that risk of having fibroid. Okay, in fact, they did one study and found out that vegetable and fruit intakes and occupational intensity played positive effects on uterine fibroids. Okay, so also depending on what your occupation is and how it happens, all these things can actually affect how and what would cause fibroid for you. All right, so if we're looking at fibroids, while fibroids are typically not cancerous, they have an impact on the quality of life you have during perimenopause. Okay, John Emmanuel say, hello, Olowoyoyo. Okay, I've greeted you before. Says, in 2 months now, no period, and I'm 40. I wedded 2022 March 18, and today is my second year anniversary. And doctor says postmenopause. What does that mean? All right. Okay. So, you've not seen your period for 2 months. Don't worry, it's not even that bad. And you're just 40. It could be perimenopause, but the truth of the matter is that during perimenopause, okay, John Emmanuel, during perimenopause, you can still have your babies. So please chat me on my WhatsApp number. I'm going to talk with you and I'm going to give you some personal advice on what to do so that you'll be able to, at least with you're still 40, your period is just 2 months ago that you didn't see it. I'll tell you and discuss some things that you can do so that you'll be able to at least have that period and have better chance of taking in before you really enter your menopause. It could still be perimenopause and you can still have your child at perimenopause. Okay, I should hide your post. Okay, all right, but I've answered you. But chat me on my WhatsApp number +234 703 515 1642. Okay, so chat me so that I'll be able to. Why can't I hide? Maybe I'm not. Okay, Johnny Mana, just go ahead and delete your post. I'm sure you can delete your post. Just delete it, but chat me on my WhatsApp number +234 703 515 1642. Like I said, you can still have your babies, okay? It's not too late. So chat me so that we'll be able to discuss this, okay? So let me continue. Why fibroids are typically not cancerous, they also have an impact, like I said, in the quality of your life during perimenopause, like abnormal uterine bleeding. I tell you, there are some women that 2 3 months they are still bleeding, okay, and this is also because of perimenopausal fibroid increasing and things happening to them. So it can be very discomforting. Imagine something that is supposed to your period that is supposed to last for 5 days, you're not having it for 1 month, you're not having it for 2 months. It can be very disturbing, okay? But there are also common symptoms that are associated with fibroids for perimenopausal women, and that's heavy bleeding, like I said, prolonged periods, like I've said, bleeding in between periods. You find out that you just finish your period before it's 28 days, it's coming back again. Then also you have this pelvic pressure. It's not really pain, but you have that weight on your pelvic, okay? And then sometimes it comes with back aches, and sometimes when you're having sex with your husband, it comes also with pain. And another thing that could cause fibroid could cause, or the symptom of fibroid at this perimenopausal season, is also frequent urination. So some people they find out, oh, why am I just urinating? It could be also because of the fibroid that you're having, okay? All right. Now, doctors have found that fibroids are also dependent on the ovarian hormones of estrogen and progesterone. And these fibroids have more estrogen receptors and progesterone receptors than normal tissue. That's the fibroid tissues, okay? And recent finding also show that estrogen increases the expression of progesterone receptors, which seems to go at its peak during perimenopause years, and also now starts declaring after menopause. For instance, they did one study and found out that 30% of newly diagnosed uterine fibroids were between the ages of 45 and 49, and that's actually the age of perimenopause. Okay, now while fibroids are common, their symptoms can actually have a significant impact in our lives, and this assumption, that will be resolved on the onset of menopause. Sometimes you find out that, they always tell you, by the time you enter menopause, all these things will be resolved, but you just find out that they actually don't resolve. Now, since abdominal uterine bleeding also accounts for like 70% of all gynecological consultations in perimenopause and postmenopausal women, there are also a multitude of other conditions that may cause this bleeding. It might not be fibroid only, okay? So it's very, very important that you go through evaluation and diagnosis through your doctor so that they'll be able to find out what is really causing it. Sometimes infection can bring bleeding. Okay, so you need to actually find out what's happening to you so that one will be able to say, this and this is what you're supposed to do for yourself. Again, women at this stage of perimenopause have other changes that happen in their menstruation. Remember, symptoms of perimenopause could come with all this bleeding issue. So it might not even be fibroid. It might just be symptom of menopause. So that's why it's good for you to be able to pinpoint what is happening to you, okay? And that's why it's so difficult to be able to say, this is what the fibroid test, being able to say, this is how I'll just do it. So when it comes to diagnosis of fibroids, there are some limitations with testing, such as imaging, differences between types of imaging and things like that, okay? So there are some evidences also that show that hormones and genetics can play a larger part on your fibroid growth, okay? So fibroids do not develop until a woman begins the production of estrogen, which occurs during the onset of menstruation. So that's why I said once a woman enters puberty and she starts menstruating, there is that, that's when it actually begins. So hormonal imbalance during the reproductive years can trigger the development of fibroid as well as also increasing the growth. For instance, they did a study also by the Endocrine Society, and they found out that women with higher level of estrogen and testosterone were at higher risk of developing uterine fibroid. So, and this is like estrogen dominance, and it can result in the development and growth of fibroids. All right. So all these are all the scientific studies that have been done. But actually, fibroids sometimes shrink after menopause. That's when a woman's body stops producing sex hormone. The fibroid can shrink. Thank you for the thumbs up. Thank you for the love. I appreciate. But women taking birth control pills, we need to note this because some women have so many ways they try to do family planning. So if you're taking birth control pills or you're undergoing hormone replacement therapy, you will find out that your fibroid will not shrink because your estrogen is not reduced. The estrogen hormone is still very high. So, but as I mentioned before, it's not always correct to assume that fibroids will resolve with the onset of menopause. Hormone therapies can actually be used to temporarily relieve heavy menstrual bleeding and period pain, as well as shrink fibroid, but they can't make them disappear completely. And that's why you find a lot of people, they'll say, I've gone through this treatment, I've done this operation, and the fibroid is going back. Because what is feeding it is still feeding it. So it will, after the operation and things like that, it might still grow back. So you actually need to note all this. And I'm still going to be talking about, that's why I always tell people, even if you've gone through operation, you're going through any therapy or things like that, the natural remedies, your diet is also very, very important for you to note. So if we're talking about hormone management for fibroids in perimenopausal women, there are positive and negative sides to hormone therapy. Like I said earlier, hormones are usually only used for a limited amount of time because of the risk of its side effects. Now, therapy only works for as long as it is used. All those hormone therapy, it's only when you're using it that it works. So the fibroids may grow again once the therapy is stopped. And there's a common use of hormone therapy to shrink fibroid before surgery. They will say, oh, let's do this therapy before they do surgery. For women just before menopause, or for women who can't actually have the surgery, sometimes they use those hormone therapy. But remember, as long as you're doing it, you're okay. But once you stop, it can regrow again. All right, Ekom, you Sandy, good evening. You're welcome. Welcome to this evening's broadcast. Now, I'm not going to go into details because I'm not a medical doctor. You can consult your doctor, but I'll just give you a little idea on some of the hormone therapy that comes, and a little, maybe I'll talk a bit about the side effect, or I'll just mention it to you. They have the GnRH analogous, so it's artificially produced hormones that inhibits production of estrogen in the ovaries. The side effects are also similar to problems associated with menopause, including hot flushes, sweat, and vaginal infection. Okay, and then they have the progestin in hormonal intrauterine device. Okay, and that one is like only pills. Now, it also has its own side effects like acne, spotting, mood swings, breast tenderness that goes with it. And then, okay, they also have the progestin and estrogen combination birth control pills, okay, which can actually reduce the flow of menstrual blood, and also uninterrupted use can actually cause menstrual periods to stop completely over time. Now, the side effects also include water retention, headache, breast tenderness, and also the increased risk of blood clots, especially in older women and women who smoke. Okay, so all these things come with their side effects. Even the fourth one, which they call the ulipristal acetate, that's a drug that is used in the morning after your pill. Okay, it also has its risk and its life side effects, because it's a life-threatening liver damage that it can cause. So all these things come with their side effects. So it's why it's very, very good for you when you meet your doctor, discuss in details, let them tell you the advantage, the disadvantages, and the side effect of any of these things they have to do. But like some people, if you're not really having heavy symptoms and your symptoms are something you can manage and you can try natural remedies for, it might be good for you to just use that way, so that you not be able to say, oh, I'm treating this and something else is coming to you. Okay, so uterine fibroids are a common conditions, but it doesn't mean treatment is that straightforward. Okay, so for women in perimenopause, the similarity of symptoms can actually make management and treatment different than at other times of life. Just like people have different pregnancies, different menopausal symptoms, that's how also fibroid manifests itself. Some women with fibroids have no symptoms at all, while others have their quality of life impacted so much that they have to seek for treatment for it. Okay, so that's what happens concerning fibroid. And whether you're a woman suffering with fibroid or you have relations treating this condition, it's actually very important to remember that you're not alone. So don't do this journey alone. Don't go on it alone. You need other people. You need other support system that can actually help you in doing so. All right. Okay. So if we're talking about fibroids after menopause, there are just slight changes. I'll just talk about that, and then we go and look at some natural remedies that we can use. Fibroid needs the hormone estrogen to grow. I'm talking about fibroid after menopause now. Remember, just been talking so much about perimenopausal time. So, but fibroid needs estrogen to grow. Hello, Pat George. Good evening. You're welcome. So, after menopause, estrogen level decreases dramatically, which usually reduces the risk of developing fibroid. And in many cases, fibroid will shrink. Remember, not all cases, but in many cases, it will shrink and it will cause fewer symptoms after menopause. But some people may not see that decrease in the symptoms actually. Now, hormone therapy aims to maintain levels of hormone and progesterone during perimenopause and after menopause. So for this reason, fibroids may continue to grow, like I said before, if you're taking some kind of hormone therapies. Some treatments for fibroids mean a person can no longer become pregnant. Often, this is not as an issue after menopause, because of course after menopause you're not even producing eggs, okay, but it may be consideration for anyone who have passed menopause and is considering pregnancy through assisted reproductive technologies, IVF and things like that. All right, so now if we talk about symptoms of fibroid after postmenopause. It also resembles that of perimenopause, okay? According to the Office of Women Health, fibroids can vary from the size of an apple seed, you know how an apple seed is, to that of a big grapefruit. That's not a grapevine. You know how big a grapefruit can be. And a person can have one or more. And for this reason, some people have no symptoms because maybe when it's very, very tiny, they might not even have any symptom, while others can experience very severe discomfort depending on the size. So the symptoms of fibroid can remain the same regardless of age, like I've said before, heavy bleeding during reproductive years and bleeding that can continue after menopause, okay? That's still the same for postmenopause. Enlarged abdomen, you see every other place, even for some slim people, every other place is slim and tender, but that stomach is still big. Feeling of fullness in your lower abdomen, that's that weight I talked about. Then pain during sex, pressure on the bladder or bowels, which can cause frequent urination and sometimes lower back ache. So sometimes people might have lower back ache, not just because of arthritis, but because of fibroid. They can develop lower backache because of the fibroid that they are having. Hello, Ude Abiola, good evening, you're welcome. So remember, I'm taking your questions as we go along. Okay, fibroids are benign, they are not cancerous, but in rare cases, the growth that can appear to be fibroid can contain some cancerous cells, okay? But this happens like 1 in 1,000 fibroids, so it's very, very uncommon. And the pain and discomfort of fibroid can actually severely affect a woman's overall lifestyle, quality of life, inability for her to go to work or perform her routine very, very well. So for this reason, it's good for you to actually seek medical help. So if we talk about treatment, I've already talked about the treatment when I was talking about perimenopause, and I said some of those therapies might have their side effects, okay? Sometimes the doctors would take up what they call watch and wait approach. If the symptoms are not that severe, they will just say, let's watch it for another 6 months, let's watch it for another 1 year, let's watch it for another, okay? So sometimes it's even better than just going straight to go and begin a therapy that might have some side effects, okay? So the factors that doctors will consider before deciding on what treatment to take is the size of the fibroid, the location of the fibroid, your age, and also the symptoms that you're having. So those are the 4 things that will determine which approach the doctor can use. If the size is very small and it's located in a not very serious place, they can use the watch and wait approach, like I said, okay? And also, if a woman is near 50, they can also, if they feel that you're about to just enter your menopause, they can also use the watch and wait approach. But to shrink fibroid naturally, it's also possible. Many fibroids shrinks and disappear naturally, and that is a process that can be facilitated by exercising, eating a healthy diet, and using some herbal and supplementation remedies. So for fibroids that are larger or more burdensome, prescription medications can help shrink fibroid and reduce associated symptoms like heavy bleeding. I've talked about that. But in some cases, when lifestyle changes, medication and alternative therapies are not effective for symptom relief, then your doctor will be able to give you an advice on what to do about it, okay? So to shrink fibroid naturally, like I said, diet is very important. Now, diet alone is unlikely to shrink fibroid, especially if they are not already shrinking on their own. But certain foods that you eat, which are high in trans fat, may actually trigger inflammation in your body, which will also contribute to the fibroid growth. So diet is also very, very important. In fact, I've talked with a number of women and they told me, oh, when I eat this, I will have more bleeding. When I eat this, I find out that my fibroid is growing more, okay? And research also suggests that a diet low in fruits and vegetables can actually increase, um, can actually reduce your risk of developing fibroid. But if you have a diet which is low in vegetables, it can increase your risk of developing fibroids. So eating certain foods may actually help to slow fibroid growth. So some of those foods would include, like I said, fruits, especially fruits that are low in glycemic index, vegetables, almost all vegetables, okay? Love Yahweh, thank you. Particularly leafy green. Leafy green vegetables are absolutely fantastic. And it's good that you take them as green as possible, okay? So reducing the heat, the heating process, the boiling, steaming process of those vegetables, and having like 3 to 5 portions every day of your vegetables. And when we talk about portions, now have different types of vegetables on your meal. For your meal, have a good vegetable meal at least once a day and have varieties of vegetables in that meal. You know, when I talked about ewedu and I taught us about ewedu, I taught you how you can mix ewedu, shoko, ewedu, tete, ogo. Okay, that's 3 vegetables for those of us in Nigeria. And those of us abroad, you can mix your broccoli, your kale, your spinach, or your other vegetables like cabbage and things like that, having all those vegetables. So having your greens or your deep colored vegetables, 3 to 5 in one plate, and taking it like generously for each meal. Okay. Now, also lean meats are good. Legumes like beans is very good. Peas and lentils for those of us abroad, absolutely very, very good. And then fatty fish or like omega 3, fish with omega 3 like salmon, mackerel, and green teas. These are absolutely very, very well for you. Okay. But for example, like I always tell people, sometimes you're not able to get all these foods I've mentioned on your table every day. And if you're not able to get all this food on your table every day, then you will need help. You will need now what we call the supplementation. For example, eating red meat, consuming alcohol, and having vitamin D deficiency are all associated with fibroid growth and development. So those are the things you need to avoid. Like one study found that female who are deficient in vitamin D had larger fibroid. And that's why it's good for you to get your vitamin D from the sun and also get your vitamin D from your supplements so that you will have enough. But like I said, adding fortified foods which are rich in vitamin D to your diet are very, very good for you, like mushroom, like eggs, like nuts. They will protect against fibroid development and growth. This is actually very, very important. Now, if we're talking about vitamins and supplements for shrinking fibroids, vitamin and supplements for shrinking fibroids, okay? Research shows that taking vitamin D3 supplements may be effective in reducing the risk of fibroids. And a handful of other vitamins have also been identified for their potential to slow fibroid growth. And this includes vitamin A, vitamin B3, vitamin C, vitamin E, and vitamin K. So adding all these vitamins, vitamin D3, vitamin A, vitamin B3, vitamin C, vitamin E, and vitamin K, if you can add them to your food as your supplementation, they are also very, very good. I have some very nice supplements that can actually give you this. Now, you won't be able to read the back of this, but I wish you can. If you could, you would have seen that this supplement Imu Blend has your vitamins, your vitamin C, vitamin D3, it has your zinc, okay? And then we also have our garlic thyme, we also have our propolis, and then our berry nectar. These are the supplements that can actually help you to manage your fibroid, to make sure they don't grow larger, to also make sure that they begin to shrink, okay, gradually. Now, it's not automatic. When I say food supplements, which means they are something that you take all the time. So your propolis, your garlic thyme, your berry nectar, and your Imu Blend, very, very good for you, okay? They have all these vitamins that I have mentioned today. Hello, Pa. Just say this message is for me today. Thank you, Tonia. Thank you for the thumbs up. All right. So another natural way, exercise won't do much to reduce the size of any existing fibroid, but studies show that regular physical activities and exercises will help maintain a healthy hormonal balance that will prevent fibroid development. And so that's why it's also very, very good for us as perimenopausal women, premenopausal women, to do exercises on time. Exercise is not just fun. It's not just how do I put it, to belong. Exercise is good for your health because exercise will release endorphins, which are the feel good hormones that will help reduce fibroid related pains also. So that's how exercise is related to fibroid. It makes it not to grow. It also reduces the growth for you. So it's absolutely very, very important that you do it. Now, I've talked so much about fibroid during perimenopause and postmenopause, and I've also told you some of the natural ways you can do it. Now, these supplements that I showed you today are going on 20% discount for those people that really need it, because we are in this business together. We are in this business of getting you better health, getting you well prepared to be able to live and age gracefully. All right, so I'll just take our questions, and if we don't have any questions, we call it a day. Like I said, I wanted this video to be 45 minutes, which is what is going to that. Hello, Chibuzada, how are you? Good evening, how are you doing? We need to talk, oh, Chibuz, I'm telling you, we need to talk. Chat me, oh. You know what I'm saying. I'm sure she understands. All right. Do we have any other question? Like I said, you can chat me on my WhatsApp number +234 703 515 1642 so that we can chat about this, talk about what you will do, and then we know how to take it. For every issue that you're having, it doesn't just have to be only hormone issues like menopause, perimenopause, postmenopause, every health issue, financial health, spiritual health, physical health, emotional health, psychological health, all the 8 dimensions of health. I'm here for you. All right. So, in the absence of any other questions or greeting, Chibuza, mommy, Chibuza, don't call you. All right. Thank you for joining me. Like I said, today it's been a full video and it's less than 45 minutes, so you can go back and watch the video. Please share, share, share. I'm begging you. Share this to women. You don't know, many women don't talk out when they have this problem. But when you share this video and they watch it, you will see that you have helped them. Many women are living in pain, living in dejection, living in, as if they are castigated because they say, hey, if I tell anybody now, they will begin to say that woman with fibroid. They'll begin to name me fibroid woman. So that's why just share this video and just keep quiet. They will get to me because I'm a stranger somehow, and then I'll be able to help them. Please promise me. All of us here, we've had over 30 people in this video. If we can just share this to all the women group we belong, all our neighbors, our colleagues, our office group and things like that, and even to men, that they should share to women so that people can hear. There is a solution for everyone. You don't have to die in silence. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, Priscilla Basi says, how much? Just chat me on my WhatsApp number. My WhatsApp number is there, +234 703 515 1642, +234 703 515 1642, and I'll give you the prizes with the 20% discount. Remind me, because usually it's not on 20% discount. So if I give you without 20% discount, just remind me that I said it's on 20% discount, usually 10% discount. But because of this video and because I want to help a lot of people, I'm doing it at 20% discount just for you. All right. Uchechi says she learned a lot. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Rachel, for sharing. Thank you. Please, let's all share, share, share. I love you all. You are all my fans. I'm really so proud of all of you. I talk about you every time. I have wonderful followers and fans. Love you all. Thanks. Bye. See you on Wednesday. Yeah. We'll be cooking on Wednesday. Yeah, I'm around on Wednesday. So we'll be cooking on Wednesday. See you Wednesday, 3 p.m. Join me and let's cook. Love you all.